Hey, Carlin.
Hey, Aaron. Thanks for answering. Thanks for answering the phone. Are you ready to start the show?
Yeah, we can start the show.
Are you okay?
It couldn't be better.
Okay. Well, so let's start. Okay. Um,
I'm sorry, I gotta put down my chips.
yeah. I mean, put down the chips. That's only podcast etiquette
It's good.
to not eat while we're
I'm sorry.
recording. Okay. So are we
I've
gonna
been,
start?
I've just been, I've been eating a lot lately, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to put the junk food down. It's been a long month, and I know. We only really talk when we record every month,
Right. Right.
and um, so I mean, it's been a long month.
Okay. Well. So do you want to talk about whatever is bugging you before we start the show, or do
I
you?
mean, when was the last time you talked to Bama Dog?
I mean, sometimes we'll interact with him on Twitter, but I know he's so busy. I know
Yeah, he's
he's
so
like
busy. He's
constantly
so busy.
because I know he does like the Bama
Yeah,
Dog
I'm
University.
so, I'm so,
I
I'm so, I'm so over that. I'm so
I
over that.
hold on a second. Sorry, I like to drink a little peppy when we record. Um, so I know he's got the Bama Dog University. I know he's got the skydiving. I know he's still into the taekwondo. Look,
I know all of the, I know all of his goals. I know all of those that are going on. Listen, I don't know if you know this, but I met up with him this past month
I didn't know that. You know why I didn't know that?
because we don't
We
talk.
don't talk. You
We
don't
don't
check in with
talk.
the office. You don't check in with the home office in
And
Tallahassee.
I went down to Alabama,
Okay.
and
So you were in Alabama?
yeah, I was in
You were
Alabama.
like super close to us.
I wasn't too close. I
Like
was
you were so
close.
close.
I was close, but we were so
Like
busy
you were
though.
like
Like I
maybe a
see,
hundred miles away from
but
us.
you see, like anytime you're with Bama Dog though, like time just flies because you're just so busy. There's so many things to do and to accomplish, to inspire the world.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Um, so he sent me a list of high level goals that I needed to do prior to meeting with him in Alabama. I got there
Uh huh.
and he went through the high level goals, like you said, skydiving.
So he wanted you to do
Uh,
skydiving.
yeah, becoming a black belt. Um, being a best-selling author. I mean, the list is endless,
Mm-hmm.
and he made me write these all down on marker boards around his office. So the entire office is full of marker boards.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and then he had me erase it all. But he looks at me and he says, "I want you to write down every reason you can think of for me to let you continue being part of Alabama Dog U, and for me to not kick you out.
Wait. He's wait.
What are
He
the
said. Wait.
reasons?"
He says this to you.
Yeah, he says this to me. What? Why should I not kick you out of Alabama Dog U right now? Write down my write down my reasons.
Write
And he
down.
said
Wait.
it.
He wanted you to write down
He
his
wanted me to
reasons.
no no no. He wanted me to write down my reasons.
So
He
he
shouldn't
was
kick me out.
about ready to kick you out.
He was yeah. He was. I mean, it was a threat. It was a bold play, and I looked at him and of course I thought he was joking because it's Alabama Dog.
Yeah.
It's he's like a brother to me, family,
Uh huh.
and
Well, more
yeah
than
yeah.
family.
But no, he was dead serious, and I was let go. He said do not come back here, do not talk to me until you have reached these high level goals, and that you can come back with a valid reason why I shouldn't get rid of you. I feel like I feel like I've lost a part of me, and I've just been in this slump. It's been tough. It's been a tough month.
But here's what I think. Here's what I think it is. It's just a lot of pressure right now. You know what? You know what season we're in right now. We are in the season of when the potty selection committee chooses
Oh,
the.
I didn't even think of
You
that.
didn't think about it.
I
It's
didn't
high
even think
pressure
about
time,
that.
and I realized that I might have I might have really put this show in peril with my
Yeah.
attitude and my problems that I brought to the show last
Yeah.
month. And I've turned it around. I'm coming to this show with a new attitude, and I just want you to remember, like, this is potty
There's a lot of
season.
pressure. There's a lot of pressure.
It's a
There's
lot of
Right.
pressure, and I don't know. I have an idea. Maybe maybe we'll talk about it later. But I have an idea for maybe something that'll help both you and your situation with Alabama Dog.
Don't say marker boards. Please don't say marker
I don't think marker boards.
I have nightmares about them.
I don't think marker boards will be a part of it. I think we could use them if we wanted to, but I don't think that's what it'll come to.
Okay.
But I mean, are you ready to start the show now? I mean, do you want to take a couple more bites of your chips and then let's do
Hang,
this?
I mean, hang on. Toby is outside my door, scratching on the door.
He heard about.
Probably no. He heard us
Here
talking
he
about
goes.
potties.
Yeah, here he goes, trying to shoot
And
in on our potties.
he's trying to show off now, and he's probably holding his potty outside my door right
He's
now.
not trying to do some sort of like parkour or something, like, hey, look at me, I'm a cat doing parkour on a podcast. Ooh, we should win a potty.
Let me tell you, because I know you're not a cat owner, but cats are doing parkour all the time.
Right. But I mean,
They're jumping to these incredible heights. They are balancing themselves on thin items. It's incredible.
I hear
But,
him right now. I hear him right now.
You hear him?
Yeah. Here he is.
Oh.
He's trying to get in on our award again. If we win an award, his name's gonna have to be on it.
He might be in the act of texting the potty judges, and I should probably chase him down. He might go through a construction zone. Who knows?
He might be like, he might just plow through the wall.
I think that would be me.
Oh, that
I
would
would
be you chasing after
I would
him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you would just plow through some drywall.
I will chase him down
Yeah. Okay.
because he
let's
is
do
my
this.
cat, and I won't. I promise I will not blow him up. I won't shoot him. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
I don't want PETA. I don't want PETA involved.
I mean, if he runs to like the cat embassy,
I want Peppy involved.
he's gonna run to like the cat embassy, and you're gonna like
Yeah.
chase him down.
Yeah.
Right. Don't do that.
Um.
Okay, let's start.
So what? Okay. Hey, Carlin. How's it going?
Hey, Aaron. It's good to talk again.
Yeah. Good talk. Did we just finish?
No, it's good to talk again. It's good.
Oh, good to talk.
Yeah, it's good to talk. It's
I
good
thought-
to. Let's start
I
over.
thought you-
Let's start over.
I thought-
No,
okay.
Aaron. Let's snap out of it, man. Snap out of it. Get out of the funk. Get out of the funk.
I got it. Okay. Eye on the prize.
Eye on the prize. Okay, let's do it. Let's start again.
Potty.
Potty,
Hey, Carlin.
Potty. Oh,
No,
sorry.
no,
I thought we
no,
were
I
chanting.
started.
I thought we were chanting.
Start.
I was all into it. Okay, all right.
Okay, let's do it together.
Let's do it again.
Potty.
Potty.
Wait, I thought you were gonna do it with me.
I was. We were. All right. Let's just do the show. Let's do the show.
Okay. Okay, you start.
I'll start the show. All right. What episode number is this? I mean, it's 0018.
18.
Okay.
Dedicated.
Sorry. Well,
Dedicated.
yeah, I knew. Okay. All right. Hey, Aaron. How's it going?
Hey, Carlin. I'm pretty good. How are you? Was that too much? Was that too much?
No, it's good. It's good. Keep going. Let's
Okay,
keep
okay.
rolling. Keep rolling. Hey, good to talk to you again. It's February and of 2015. And
Great.
you know what that means? Potty season. So everyone who's listening, be sure to vote for us for a potty. Am I coming on too strong with that or not?
I don't think we should lead with that because I mean we don't want to seem like we're begging or that we're desperate because
We don't want to seem like we're begging.
That's the begging strips. you want to know about begging? Have you visited Alabama Dog? Talk about a begging buffet. I mean,
I'm sorry. I
begging
didn't mean to bring up Alabama Dog.
there are no hard feelings of begging, but begging does make me think of.
It makes me think of Alabama Dog. I shouldn't have said that because I know right now. We'll cut this part out. We'll cut this part out. I just know.
Just need a sip of Peppy.
You need some Peppy. Okay, let's start again. Hey, Aaron.
So it's the perfect temperature. Hey, Carlin. Hey, I was just drinking some Peppy.
Oh,
coffee.
Peppy. Well, we're back again. It's February. I almost said the thing about the potties again. We're not saying. Okay, we're not saying that. It's February, and we're starting a new episode. It's episode 0018.
We're talking about Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. This is
So-
from 2006. Now, this is the second time we've talked about Casino Royale on
Mm,
this podcast. So somebody who is kind of perusing, there might be perusing our feed.
uh-huh.
They might see. Wait, hold on, you guys. Way back in episode 0011, you talked about Casino Royale. True. But
True.
those were, we talked about the 1954 and the 1967 versions. And now, this time, we're talking about the Daniel Craig 2006 Casino Royale. So this is actually Daniel Craig's second film that we're covering, but it's actually his first film that he made for the James Bond series.
It's the first. It's the first real movie.
And it's based on the first James Bond novel. This right here, what we're doing by informing listeners of this show right now, they're learning so much about James Bond. We are showing off our James Bond expertise. If you like this
Hashtag
James
experts.
Bond expertise that you're listening to right now, perhaps consider nominating and voting for us in this year's Potty Awards.
That was good. That was pretty good.
Was that pretty natural?
I felt like if you said it a little bit faster, it could have been like the how announcers do at the end of infomercials.
Yeah, I
Um,
wanted to resonate. I didn't want to say it too fast. So.
If you like this episode of Casino Royale, if you appreciate these expertise, please vote for us in the potties in the 2015
Okay.
voting.
You
Yeah,
think you're doing it better?
something
You think
like.
you're doing it better? Whatever. Okay.
And so when does this voting close, Carlin? Or I guess where can we go? Where can people who want to vote for us go?
Oh, true podcast aficionados, they know. They know.
And if you are a newbie, you can just go to our website and we'll post a link. We'll post a blog post. And if you don't vote for us, vote for Alabama Dog. But I'm not talking
We're
about
coming out
that.
with hey. It's a sensitive subject right now, but
But he's still a co-host
he is still a co-host.
in my heart.
You know, it's interesting. I do want to talk about Daniel Craig because
Because he's on your team. He's on your dodgeball
He is on my dodgeball team, and this isn't really something we do on our show, but I want to address this. There's been a lot of talk recently in the news, and I've caught up on this news over the last couple of months. There's been a lot of talk about who should replace Daniel Craig as James
Replace?
Bond. And yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this. And,
But I
and
think the term "replace" implies that he would be fired.
correct. And what I don't like this talk because he's still James Bond. They're making a new movie, Bond 24, Spectre. They're making this movie, and there's all these articles about, oh, should this guy be James Bond, or of course, the big one, obviously, the one that everyone's talking about is the robot guy, the guy who makes the robots, Idris Elba. Everyone's like, oh, wouldn't he be an awesome James Bond? And I thought, because we're such experts and because we're talking about Daniel Craig in this episode, I think it's time to address the official Pod James Pod, our viewpoint on this topic. And
And just to reiterate, we are not a rumor mill resource.
no, that's
We
not us. That's
no
not
no
us.
no 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 no. That's what Bames John Dean is for.
That's what
okay?
they would do.
Us here, we're Pod James Pod. We're going to give you expert analysis about the facts
Yeah.
and only the
And
facts.
speaking of facts, here's what I'm pushing for. Here's what I'm going to push
Okay.
for.
Okay.
Everyone's like, oh, because let's look at the history. We got Sean Connery, we've got
Correct.
George Lazenby, we've got Roger Moore, we've got,
My son does not recognize George Lazenby.
I
as
understand
one of
that.
those.
We've got Timothy
Okay,
Dalton,
okay.
we've got Pierce Brosnan, we've got Daniel Craig. Well, they're all white guys. And then we're coming around. We got Idris Elba as the suggestion. People campaigning for Idris Elba to take over the role that's not open because Daniel Craig still has the job. and everyone's
He
sort of
signed
like,
up for Bond 25 as well.
that's what they're saying. So everyone, everyone's like, hey, look at me. I'm suggesting Idris Elba. Look how forward thinking I am. Look at me. I'm suggesting this man, Idris Elba. He's got a different skin color, and I'm so forward thinking. Okay, all right. Look, that's great. That's great.
Hmm.
But is it not time to take things one step further? You know,
Hmm.
Here's what I would like to suggest, and I don't think this is anyone has thought of this. No one has thought
Okay.
of this.
No one.
Why not? When it comes time, and I'm not advocating replacing Daniel Craig anytime
Years
soon.
from now.
Years from
Years
now.
from now.
Bond 26, 27, 20, whatever. Why
Hmm.
not, when we go to recast this role, replace him with a dog? And I got just the dog. Alabama Dog.
You had to go there. You had to go there.
But here's why. Here's
Listen.
why. I want to make that this show's high level goal. My high
To
level
get
goal for
Alabama
this show.
Dog as the next Bond.
Yes.
And let's just be clear. We're not talking about replacing Daniel Craig.
No.
We're talking about following him.
Yes.
Who's going to follow Daniel Craig?
Yeah. Alabama Dog.
So let's look through some of the typical, I guess, qualifications that a Bond actor would need. So is Alabama Dog British?
No, he's from Alabama.
Okay, okay. I'll let that one slide. I'll
Okay.
let that one slide.
Okay, good.
It's well, let's say in the year 2020. How old will Alabama Dog be?
In the year 2020, so that's another, about 5 years away from now. So what, he'll be like 10 then? 9, 10, something
Did you
like
say
that?
did you just say Tintin?
10, no, not 10, 10, 10. He'll be 9
He'll
or
be
10.
Tintin?
He'll be 9 or 10.
I think Tintin could pull off being James Bond.
He could be. He could do it. The CGI version,
And
especially.
Daniel Craig was even in. I even mentioned Tintin about the James Pod movie.
You did.
Are you secretly thinking of Are you secretly thinking about Tintin?
All the time.
I mean, Daniel Craig was the villain, the voice actor for the villain in Tintin. So maybe Tintin is the natural replacement for Bond, and we have a CGI Bond movie.
Okay, but I'm talking. I'm not talking about a CGI character. I'm talking about a dog.
Back to Alabama Dog.
Yeah, a dog.
Okay,
look,
okay,
Aaron, Aaron.
so
This is what, if we can accomplish this. If we can accomplish this, this gets you back in, man. This gets you back in.
you're right. Okay,
Okay,
all
all right.
right. So Alabama Dog, he'll be about 10. Let's say 10. So that's about what, 70 in dog years? That's way over the age limit, isn't it?
Well, look at Roger Moore.
Look at Roger Moore.
Yeah, like
I mean,
most of his movies were done like when he was 70. He came into the role. He was already old.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so is he handsome? Well, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Does he have?
Will women fall in love with him? That's already a given.
Yes. Does he have terrific screen presence?
I think that's been proven time and
Yep.
time again.
Yep.
Is he athletic?
Yeah. Yeah. He loves frisbees. He loves chasing tennis balls.
He swims in the ocean.
Yeah. Well, he does. He does all the the skydiving and the martial arts now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Does he look good in a tux?
We have to get it tailored for him, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think he would.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I feel good about that. So I feel like we've got a goal. We've got a goal in place, a high level goal for our show, and I think if we can pull this off, if we can really get some attention for our show. I think this will just naturally make us more of a shoe-in for really any potties from this year and on. So,
Do you think Alabama Dog has a good poker face? Do you think he has a tell?
um,
Like if he sat a bag of bacon strips right in
that
front
might
of him,
be
do you
the
think
challenging part. But between now and then, we can work on training him. We can get some trainers in, and we can help.
I can
We can
like
help him with that.
would we be since we're co-hosts with Alabama Dog, do you think we would be part of the writing process? Like can we create a villain that knows Bama Dog's kryptonite is bacon strips?
Oh, I'm certain that the mission of the movie is to save Began from being
Can
destroyed.
bacon li- I'm gonna put this out there.
Uh huh.
This might be too forward thinking.
Okay.
What if
By the way, I don't
um,
believe there's such a thing. Too
you're
forward
right.
thinking. But go ahead.
We're always looking forward. Um, it's the history of Bond. We know that it's sexist, it's chauvinistic, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent movies and Daniel Craig movies are trying to give some more power over to the female characters, the
Right.
female
Right.
roles. What if Alabama Dog becomes the next Bond after Daniel Craig, not replacing him? If we get rid of the Bond girl aspect, no more Bond girl, and we replace it with bacon strips.
That's
Bacon
genius.
strips
The Bond,
are the Bond
the
girl.
Bond Began strips.
Yes. I mean, can you imagine like Alabama Dog jumping into a bed full of bacon strips like that? That would make
Scantily clad Began strips.
so out of the bag. They're already pulled out of the
Right.
bag.
They're no longer in the bag. They're completely uncovered Began strips.
Yeah. In every in every movie that follows, there's like a different flavor of bacon strips.
Right. Well, it couldn't be the same one each time because that's that. Yeah.
We have to be diverse, and we have
Yeah.
to, yeah, we have to get
Certainly.
all the different flavors in there.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
that's genius. It's,
Um, I hope nobody steals this idea. I hope we get full credit for this, and I hope Bama Dog listen, but listen to what my heart is saying right now. Bacon strips.
yeah. This is a genius idea. We've solved so many problems this episode already, and we haven't even gotten to the movie yet.
All we're doing is talking about the movie,
I mean,
Carlin.
exactly. I mean, we're drilling down. We're getting down to the bone of the movie. You know, like we're gnawing
Don't
on the
the
bone,
bone.
like a dog would chew on a bone. That's what we're doing with Casino Royale. I gotta tell you, this might be the Bond movie at this point in my life. Even though it's one of the newer ones, it might be one of the
Mhm.
ones I've seen the most. There's a great rewatchability to this movie. You know, we could spend multiple episodes on this movie. We could do a whole podcast about this movie, like a whole like
Mhm.
not just like an episode, but like a whole series on this movie. I think.
I mean, think about how much we've talked about it already, and we really haven't even gotten into the nitty gritty of the film.
Not yet. We
And
will, because that's what we do.
I
We will
completely,
get to it.
that's all we do. I completely agree. Casino Royale is one of the most rewatchable Bond films, um, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it was so fresh at the time.
It was needed. It was
So
very
it
needed.
was a crowd pleaser, and it was forward thinking, much like us. It was very forward thinking, and it
Yet,
was
it was forward thinking. Yet, it really harkened back to the past.
oh, it honored the past
Yes.
because it wasn't cliche and it wasn't trying to outdo the movies before it. It was very old school, and at the time when this came out in 2006, again we're talking about the 2006 version.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was I guess that was kind of the trend. Go back to the roots, break everything down to its bare essentials. We see that in other franchises like Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise. That's what I mean. I mean, of course, most of the Bond movies that we've talked about have stolen from the Batman franchise.
That's true.
Fortunately,
That's true. We do see it in the Bond franchise itself, and I know we purposely watch these. out of order, and we've kind of addressed that before. Because I think it helps the movies stand on their own. We don't have the history. We just sort of like, oh, we're randomly watching a movie, and we don't really know what's come before it. But I think it's worth mentioning that we see this a lot happen within the franchise, where there'll be something that's completely outlandish, and then the next one will be a little bit more back to basics. And I think the best example is we talked about Moonraker last week, and then the following movie was a movie that harkens very much back to the earlier days, For Your Eyes Only, which is very much like a Sean Connery era script. I mean, it went very simplistic, very much very different.
We're not talking about that movie though.
I know that.
We haven't talked about that movie.
I know that, but all I'm doing is trying to make the comparison. And I'm talking about another movie here. We have Die Another Day, completely outlandish, completely off the walls, crazy, and then that's followed by Casino Royale, much more harkening back to the old days. Very, even though it's chock full of plot and character development, it's still simplifying things. We don't have laser beams and invisible cars and trips to space and any of that stuff. It's very much more a simple James Bond spy adventure. So
not only do we see a jump forward or a revert back to Bond essentials, but we also see back to like film essentials. As far as the filmmaking of the film, it's no longer trying to do what the previous films had done. It's being part of the greater conversation of action films, of spy films, of great drama, of great acting. It's raising the bar in terms of, I guess, aesthetic tastes that audiences grow with. And the Bond films would always kind of be time capsules, or a select few films like in the series would be, oh, those are such 90s films.
right.
Or those, or anything like that. Whereas Casino Royale, and I think this is the second time Martin Campbell does this.
Correct.
Proves himself.
Because he had done Goldeneye.
Yeah, and Goldeneye, what he did with Goldeneye, he took it. I think he upgraded a lot of the style, Bond stylistically, with the action and making things a little bit more realistic. And of course, every film's trying to adds to the realism. That's just a natural progression. Much like Timothy Dalton's films, took it down and tried to make it more realistic and a more realistic Bond. And Casino Royale just does that even more so, to a greater degree than I think any other Bond film can say prior to this.
Yeah, because I think that that the Dalton films, Living Daylights in particular, we talked about this when we talked about the movie. It very much feels like it's a Roger Moore script, and they just tone it down and sort of maybe do a once over on it and give it to Dalton to do, and then Dalton has one more movie and he never gets a chance to really make the role his, because by the time they really give him something that's his, he's gone, he's done. And I think with this, they went into it saying, let's tailor this for the new guy. This was not a Pierce Brosnan script. This was a brand new, let's back to basics with this. And I think it helps that it was the first story. It was the very first James Bond novel, so that helps. It is a reboot, and we can talk a little bit about that and about a little bit of the maybe perhaps confusing nature of the reboot, especially in light of M still being in the movie, or Judi Dench still being in the movie as M. But I think that all, like, it just says there's all that confusing stuff. There's like, is Pierce Brosnan the same character as the guy Sean Connery played? And there's these occasional, especially with Dalton and Moore, there are these illusions that it is the same guy. Particularly, Moore has got some scenes and that harken back to things that happened with Connery, where you're like, well, this is the same guy. And same sort of stuff happens with Dalton, and you're like, well, really, how does that make sense? Where here we're just like, it doesn't even matter. This is accessible. You don't have to have ever seen a Bond movie to enjoy this. Common man, come in, watch.
And I think part of that is that they get away with it is because The cast is phenomenal in this film. I think they really go out and they find really talented actors. And this is, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but Daniel Craig coming in and being James Bond is the first time that um, a not a well-known actor. In fact, he was it was controversial when they cast him, but he was an actor that was known for doing quality work in like heavy-hitting dramas.
Or like Tomb Raider.
Um, yeah, like Tomb Raider, but like he did like serious
Right.
good
He had
work.
done something like
Like
there was a BBC show he did, I think, and he was in Layer Cake before that, right?
yeah, he was good, great in Layer Cake. I
Yeah.
loved him in Munich. He was great in Road to Perdition.
Right.
Few other films, and I think he was an actor first. He didn't he wasn't necessarily a not that none of the other Bond actors went on and did great movies, but it's not like Daniel Craig's career necessarily needed a James Bond role to really make his career. I think he was having a successful career. Of course, James Bond helped that.
Right.
Um, but I think I don't know. To me, he was a
Yeah.
proven actor prior to being James Bond.
If he had not been cast as James Bond, he would have had a career like Clive Owens, a guy who could have
Yes.
been Bond, but still has had a successful career without having been Bond. I mean,
Yes.
that's sort of an illusion. I'll make a comparison.
It's a great comparison.
So yeah, I think that's a great point. And you look at this entire cast, and there's no stunt casting. There's no like, oh, let's get Tom Cruise in here or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's not something that really had happened to a great deal. But
Mm.
we had just had Halle Berry, obviously, in a movie we haven't discussed yet. But there had been some of that. Previously a little bit of, oh, let's get this big name in. Even with Tomorrow Never Dies, Terry Hatcher at the time was
Yeah.
maybe not this big huge superstar, but her star was rising. Oh, let's get her in the Bond
Mm.
movie, and they don't do that. They find the best people for the role for
Yeah.
this movie.
And I'm glad you mentioned like the stuntman because as as much as the ladies probably love that Daniel Craig was a fit, handsome young Bond, it was refreshing as a Bond fan to know that this guy could actually do these stunts. This guy can actually. He looks like he could beat up these guys. It'd been
Right.
it had been a while. I think GoldenEye is the best film that comes to mind where Pierce, even though Pierce is not a intimidating man, I'm like, at least he's young enough and he looks strong enough where he could be doing these things. But Daniel Craig, just that alone, just adds so much to the realism. Like, of course, Bond would be fit. They deal with that a lot in Skyfall later about him being fit and how unrealistic it is for a Bond to be in action not at 100%.
Right, and they got that plot point also from The Dark Knight Rises.
Of course.
But we're
Of
not talking about
course.
that movie. We're not there yet. Well, since we're talking about the casting, I mean, I think we
Of The Dark Knight Rises or
of Casino Royale.
oh, okay. Okay, we're back.
Where to even begin? There's so many great characters in this. I mean, we've got. Let's start off with Ava Green as Vesper Lind, one of the most complex Bond girls, perhaps,
Yes.
that we've ever seen. I mean, she to me, I know you and I have not talked about this movie together, but I was a huge fan of Diana Rigg in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I found her to be a very good actress, and I liked the character. I liked the complexities of her. I think Eva Green is, even though I love Diana Rigg, don't take this the wrong way, Diana, if you're listening. But I think Eva Green's character of Esperlin is even more complex, more fascinating, better written, and perhaps better performed in this movie than Diana
Listen,
Rigg's character.
listen. Evergreen, yeah, it may be a very good role. She may have been a great actress in it. Her character could have been very complex, but I don't know. I don't know because I couldn't look at her eyes because her eyes were too caked with mascara. I don't know how she acted. I don't know who she was in the film. That's my only beef with her character, is that, oh my gosh, how much makeup can a girl wear? That was unbelievably distracting in this film. In fact, when I first saw it in the theaters, I was like, are they for real? Because that is way too much makeup. And that's all I'll say about that.
I can't say I even noticed.
I mean, the
But I'm not,
raccoon eyes were out of
I'm not
control.
really a shallow guy. I'm like always looking at who they are as a person. I'm not really the outside of who they are. Who they look like on the outside. That's not what I'm looking at.
Listen,
I'm looking
listen,
at
I'm the
their heart.
I'm the guy talking about bacon strips being the next Bond girl.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
She was very good. I don't think I would ever consider her uh, in my top, just because there's something nostalgic about the classic Bond girls. But I thought she was good and very complex, and I felt like her story should have ended in this film. But maybe that's for another discussion.
Villain Mads Mikkelsen as Le Chiffre. Le Chiffre. They said it like different every time. Sometimes they'd say Le Chiffre. Sometimes they'd say
The
Le
Chief,
Chiffre. Le Chiffre. They would like every so often I would hear the
really?
R. Yeah, every so often I
I
did.
had never noticed. I never picked up on the R.
A couple times I did Le Chiffre. Le
Much like
Chiffre.
how I would always pick up on Scaramanga
Yeah, yeah.
from the Golden Gun. I always thought they were saying Scaramanga, not
But
Scaramanga. Okay.
but yeah, he was good. I liked him. There was something of a he was the main villain, but also at the same time not, which was an interesting sort of thing going on. Like, as they were trying to build towards this new idea that became quantum in Quantum of Solace. That was an interesting thing that they were sort of trying to get started.
I think Mads was a great villain because uh, he had a very distinct look to him that was a good throwback. Like, just the way he looks physically, is he looks foreign, but he wasn't this villain with a lot of gadgets, and he didn't have any sort of personality or a robotic arm or any sort of thing like that.
Yeah, just had the crying blood thing. That was
Just like, oh
the
yeah,
weirdest thing about him was that.
that was weird. Okay.
Usually when we talk about these actors, we don't really delve into like the supporting cast as much. But I gotta tell you, Jeffrey Wright as Felix, best Felix ever. And I know we did talk about him some on the Quantum of Solace episode, but
Oh, he's great. He's great. In fact, he's one of my favorite parts about Quantum of Solace. But in Casino Royale, he's great. And I don't know about you, but when he reveals his identity and everything, I wasn't expecting that, but it was a pleasant surprise. I want to talk about the cold opening for this film
yeah, we should.
because it's probably my favorite part of the film. Like, I could watch that scene countless times. The black and white, the sound design,
You kind of wish the whole
the
movie had been black and white.
that would have been badass. That would have been so cool.
Really,
Um,
that would have been a really gutsy move. I mean, they never would have done it, but that would have been.
yeah. Immediately it got your attention. And the way it's shot is very classic. The dialogue about being a double O and everything, it's not exposition heavy with the flashbacks with the fight. It was just a straight killer opening. And it may be my favorite opening for a Bond film.
Yeah, the only thing that would have made it better, and I think you know where I'm going, the inclusion of Cigar Girl.
Should we talk about our dodgeball teams?
Is it time?
Are you
Or,
inspired?
well, I had one more question for you.
I'm gonna play the bumper right now, okay?
Wait, before we get to dodgeball, don't play the bumper yet. Don't press that button. Don't press the dodgeball button.
How about I'll play it a second time.
Okay. Ooh.
Come on.
Ooh, I am so jealous of the listeners right now. They get to hear it twice. Chris Cornell.
What about Chris Cornell?
Well, I know you're not a fan of. I like the song. I enjoy it. The graphics seemed a little. The opening scene titles. The graphics for the titles seemed a little simplistic and.
I thought you would have loved the titles.
I don't know, something about him I didn't like as much. This set of titles, but I like the song quite a bit. It's another one of those songs where they obviously got the guy, the score, David Arnold, who was the guy who does the score, obviously plays. There's a collaboration of sorts or something going on here, and so the score incorporates a lot of the same music from You Know My Name, da 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 da, instead of the classic James Bond song. And so the movie is about Bond before he becomes Bond, James Bond.
Yeah.
And so the music that we're familiar with and used to, it's like he hasn't earned that yet. So he has this like proto theme for a proto Bond, and then at the end he finally gets his theme. I thought that was
Which
interesting.
which I actually liked that as well. I liked that there wasn't a theme, the James Bond theme in the film at all. In fact, when I was
Until
sitting
the until the end.
until the end.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was sitting in theaters, I was thinking, like, when Bond's fighting, driving on the trucks through the airport and everything, I'm thinking, why is there no Bond music in this scene? Like, this doesn't feel like a Bond film to me. And in some ways, it wasn't supposed to be a Bond film. It's like a it's like a Bond prior to being Bond. But at the end, yeah, you're right. It kicks in. It's Bond. It's great, which is why it frustrated me so much in Quantum of Solace. Why they didn't keep with that. They didn't respect that the Bond music kicks in at the end, and they didn't respect that with Quantum of Solace.
So dodgeball. We're on to dodgeballs now. Dodgeball team. If you want to
No, let
know
me.
who's on
Chris
our
Cornell. I am not. I am not. I am not having Chris Cornell be on my team. I hate the intro song. It's like one of my least favorite ever. It's so early '90s. Maybe it's my beef with Chris Cornell, and what he's done. But it's like, why not? What, you can get anybody. Get somebody who's contemporary, somebody who's recent. But man, it just drives me nuts. Anyway,
all
so
right
dodgeball.
dodgeball. How many times has the bumper played?
This is the third time, I believe. I just keep pressing it.
Okay. Who? It's my
I
turn to
think
go
it's your
first.
first.
Yeah.
You're first. Yeah.
This seems like a really probably obvious choice. But I gotta go with Molaka, who is the guy who does the parkour at the beginning. I mean, you're not gonna be able to hit this guy.
So that's a great choice. I mean, he's like a monkey climbing
Yeah, yeah.
climbing over things. So you aren't concerned at all about Daniel Craig chasing him around on your side of the court?
Well, we have 10 players on the team, but I don't think they're all out at the same time. So maybe I don't ever work them together.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sort of rotate
Okay.
them in
So
and
who would you get rid of here?
out. I think at this point, Octopussy would go.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the mod
The mod
squad
squad is completely out.
completely out. No more mod squad.
So that leaves Cigar Girl as your only female character.
Yeah, I guess it does. Boy, look at me being like a horrible person or whatever.
Forward thinking, Carlin here.
Forward thinking, yeah. Cigar Girl still there, but
Malacca.
yeah.
That would have been my choice. So I'm thinking about your team. I'm thinking about you have three Bonds now, and Daniel Craig is obviously the biggest threat to me, physically, just everything.
Of the
And
bonds, or he's the
of the
biggest threat
Bonds,
of the whole
of the Bonds,
team.
just of the Bonds,
Okay.
and of course the Bonds naturally are uh, the leaders of the team. So I have to think of a way to get into Daniel Craig's head.
Okay.
And I think the best way to do that would be for me to recruit Vesper,
Mm.
Evergreen's character, on my team.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question: do you have the mascara budget?
Mostly because that is a very good question. I'll have to consider that. But mostly because Daniel Craig is always she rattles him around. The entire Quantum of Solace movie happened because he couldn't get her out of his head. Uh, I think what I
Uh,
would do is I would tie her up.
okay.
I would gag her. I'd put her on the middle of the floor, and he would, and then I'd shine like a flashlight on her just passing by as if he's driving a car, and then he would freak out
He would,
and
he
like
would, he
he
would
would
freak
fall
out.
down and
The only
roll
problem
around.
there is that we
Crazy.
would know that you're going to do that because one, you just told me. Two, Solitaire is on my team, so she would say, hey, coach, this is what's going to happen. She'd get the cards out, and there would be on one of the cards there'd be Vesper tied up and headlights coming towards her.
It's gonna happen when you least expect it.
Okay, okay.
Solitaire. I gotta get Solitaire off your team. I would replace Xenia. I'm taking Xenia, replacing girl for girl.
Okay. Okay. Look at you, Mr.
Xenia,
Forward
like
thinking.
we. Hey, I still have two. I have two females on my team.
Who?
The octopus.
Oh, right. The octopus. Okay.
Octo- Do you think Octopussy would have a male octopus?
You're
I don't
right.
think
You're
so.
right. You're right.
Um, like we've talked before, Xenia is too unpredictable. On my team, and she.
I hope she's not like really mad at you. Because she's been on your team for a long time.
She's been on my team since yeah,
Since the first episode we did
yeah,
this.
since episode 004. What was it?
4 or 5. Yeah. She is going to be very upset with you. So
Yeah, she will be. Sorry, bye bye Xenia.
if you don't turn up next month, then I'll know what happened to you.
If I can't get in Daniel Craig's mind by next month, I might have to rethink Vesper. But for
Well, I don't
now,
know. She's on the floor. She's available now. Maybe I'll pick her up.
Xenia.
You don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well,
She's
we'll
available. Is all I'm saying.
have to wait and see what happens for the next movie.
But anybody we've covered is open.
No, I know, I
Okay.
know.
I
But
just
the
want to
movie,
reiterate.
but the movies we watch for the month are usually our inspiration.
That's true.
Correct?
That's
Yeah.
that's true. They're usually our inspiration.
Okay.
Well,
So I think.
speaking
Go ahead.
of movies for the next month, should we talk about what we're doing next month?
I have an idea.
Okay.
Since we talked about uh, rebooting, since taking things back to the basics, and we talked about Quantum of Solace and continuing a storyline. Let's go back. Let's finish on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and let's do Diamonds Are Forever.
All right. All right. I can get behind that. Diamonds Are Forever. That'll be next month. All right. Where does Casino Royale end up in your pantheon? I think it's probably pretty obvious. Where
It's the top. It's
top
in
for
the
me as
top
well.
tier for sure. Yeah, no question about it.
No question. No boat makeout scene at the end. There was some. There was
Fortunately,
some water. There was some boats, but never at
is
the
this
end.
is this the first? Is this the first movie where it doesn't end on a makeout scene?
Hmm. Well, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, doesn't really end with a makeout scene.
You're right. I guess this movie doesn't end with Bond and a girl.
Yeah,
Is that the? I think this may be the first Bond movie where that happens.
it could be. I'd have to. I
Well,
have to
we are the
reflect. We are
experts.
the experts. You're just coming out of it's like I didn't know. Is this a 007 scene a question? I mean, is that what this is? Because I didn't know we were on that segment.
Okay. We'll get back to that. Get back.
That gives us something to talk about next time.
We're always looking for things to talk about.
Yeah, we always have James Bond to talk about because that's really all we talk about.
So, from all of us here at Pod James Pod, thank you for listening,
All right.
and we'll see you next month.
See you next month.